we have to read the purport of it, and I just wanted to give a brief overview of all the 10 topics also. So we'll just take a few minutes to know what are the 10 topics, because one devotee was requesting. So I'll just briefly tell what are the 10 topics, and from which cantos are indicating or explaining about that topics. So we have very important. The Puranas are usually said to contain 5 themes, and there is Sarga, Visarga, and Manvantara, Ishanukata, and Mukti, like that. And Mahapurana should contain 10 topics. And in this, there are Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Mutaya, Manvantara, Ishanukata, Nirodha, Mukti, Rashraya. So these are the 10 topics that are explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. The first topic is Sarga, creation. Now, all the thread starts from creation, Sarga. When we are looking around, of course, we can elaborately discuss what is Sarga, but I'll just briefly, because we had to cover the purpose. And there's a natural question where everything is coming from, and it is there in everybody's mind. Scientists are also tirelessly working. This is all how the creation comes. The first initial question, and this first theme is the creation of elements, that is directly done by the Supreme Lord. So first thing we need to understand is exactly where we are. That is what Sarga helps us to understand. Of course, there is another discussion how all this Shamasya Vishuddhana Navanama Lakshana, Vishuddhartya Navanama Lakshana, all the 9 topics are indicating 10th topic. There is another discussion, maybe some other time we'll do, but we'll just see the topics and how they are indicating 10th is another discussion, but we'll just see how. Now, this is, we'll understand our position. So Sukadeva Goswami uses exactly the same methodology. He is systematically explaining the absolute truth, saying you are here, and that's where that's who you are, and what you see around, and all these things he's explaining. Basically, another simple understanding is first Sarga, the creation, the elements are created, Mahatattva, Pradhan, and everything is from the Supreme Lord. This is the first how the elements are created, and then there is the deities for that particular element, and all these things, the senses, all these things are created by the Supreme Lord. And from Mahatattva are created absolute balanced state, and then there is Sutra Tattva, then there is Ahankara Tattva. So this all we'll discuss in second and third cantos. Basically, we will not go in detail. And then comes the secondary creation, that is Visarga. This is second topic. Visarga is when Lord Brahma creates. How he creates? He created it according to the karma of living entity. So all the ingredients he takes, which Lord already made, and with that ingredients he creates this universe. So first the ingredients are created by the Supreme Lord. That's why it is Sarga. And Visarga is secondary creation, using that ingredients. Like you have all the raw material and you cook nice delicious bhoga for the Lord. So the raw ingredients by the Lord, and cooking part is by Brahma. Like that we can understand. And so this and based on how? Based on according to karma, and how these blocks of creation come together and create our body. And the Mahatattva is our mind, and then there is Chitta, then there is the representative of Mahatattva. In our body there is also Sutra Tattva, and all these things, 10 pranas, and everything is by Brahmaji. This is secondary creations. And after that, of course, Brahma also creates his sons, Prajapatis, who further creates, and all these things. So the main thing is to understand why all these bodies are created for the secondary creation from the main blocks of elements. There are 3 reasons. That is, first, the reason is for our enjoyment, because we want to enjoy this metal world Brahma has created. And second reason is to what? Very important reason, to achieve liberation. And the third important reason, which is to practice devotional service. So it is for 3 categories. like that. And the this is the secondary creation why Brahma made. And also how we are created and everything, that is a much detailed explanation. Maybe we can see when the section comes, but I'm just giving a brief overview of all these 10 topics. And then we have sthanam. Sthanam is the place, a space, what we are staying. We are created these elements, and then but we need a place. And Sukadeva Goswami explains that sthanam Vaikunta Vijaya, that uh, Vaikunta Vijaya means that a place in this world are created. Of course, ultimately we have to go to spiritual world. But Jiva Goswami says that in this world, we are created very in a definite way, so that there are permanent boundaries. That everything is its own place without mixing. The boundaries are created based on our consciousness. Say the oceans don't overflow, everything is proper, islands are proper, and everything. So Vaikuntha Vijayatis, we infer the existence of Lord by how beautiful and harmonious this whole creation is. And that is what variety and diversity is. So this is Chitir Vaikuntha Vijayat. Uh, so this is important understanding that the whole creation, and it is what variety and diversity. It's all because of Lord. It's how beautiful Lord is. His existence is how beautiful, like that. And it's not just about geographical boundaries, it is actually metaphysical boundaries. Geographical boundaries are there, but more important here sthanam is actually metaphysical boundaries. And there are some, this is actually the sthanam part. And of course there are places for certain type of people. There are certain planetary systems, and this planetary system different kinds of living entities are there. But Lord specifically created this universe in such a way that people can fulfill their desires by enjoying in a certain way. At the same time, they can get completely confused and eventually try for liberation. So this is what is the purpose of Lord. And and the one who maintain this world is more important than one who created it and one who destroys it. That is also another thing. Siddhar Vaikuntha Vijay is Brahma created, Lord Shiva is destroying, but the maintainer is very important. That is also Sthanam part. And who supports this world is higher than Brahma and Shiva, because he is the refuge. Of course, he is the Poshanam also and Ashraya also, shelter. And also there is Vaikuntha Vijayas, he is the conqueror who can free us from all sufferings. And Sthanam is also maintenance, means that if you want to stay in such a place, we need to be free from suffering. This is the third topic. And then we have Poshanam. Poshanam means Tadanugrahad. Tadanugrahad is also means his mercy. Also its maintenance. We need to understand how we exist in this world. It is Poshanam. Some like people say, my Lord, give us our daily bread. It is actually by His grace only we all stay. Poshanam. So we are living, we are existing. It's all, life is sustained by the grace of Lord. The very cause, the essence that sustains our existence is the Lord. This is what is Poshanam means. And this is the highest way to exist in the world. I'm in direct contact with mercy of Lord, understanding that I am supported only by His mercy. And then we have Uti. This is the fifth topic. It is Karma Vasana. This is also called impetus for our activities. Uti is an internal impetus for all our activities, anything that is coming from inside. All desires and sinful desires, lower desires, good desires, everything. It comes from the sanskaras of past activities, and Sukadeva Goswami is interpreting Uti as Karma Vasana, like that. And Uti also means we have to be very careful because There are negative impulses also, and we need to follow in the footsteps of holy people, the saintly people. This is very powerful because their impressions will help us to change us. And communicating, that's association of saintly persons will uh, change our karma and change our impulses. This is another understanding we should have. And of course, that part tells that only how Prahlad and by association Ardhamuni, how he became a great devotee. Otherwise, we'll be left confused in this world and we have no idea what to do without them and how to deal with them, how to change them. We cannot understand. The result of our karma, our main karma in this world is because of association. So the result of our karma, the main karma, through association with different people, we create our future destiny. That's what is Uti. And then next comes is Manvantara. This is mm, yeah. Sarga Visargasya Sthanam Poshanamutaya Manvantara. Manvantara is this is an important topic. Manvantara basically is there are legislatures, there are rules, established moral principles, the principles of dharma in this world, which tells how to live according to the principles of dharma, basically. So understand that there all these founders of law, the Manu, all the Prajapati sages, they are actually the founders of law and must understand that they are the representative of this universal powerful plan. And everyone need to understand his nature, act in accordance with his nature, and the leaders must make sure that everyone is following his nature. This is for in general dharma. And then comes the most important topic, Ishanukata, the past tense of the Lord in different manvantras. Because when a sentient being he follows dharma, then they become receptive. Receptive to what? Ishanukata. So then only one can seriously, consciously accept the message of the Lord. So this is Ishanukata. And these stories about different reincarnations of incarnations of the Lord, Lord killing, will kindle the desire to become closer to Lord, like that. And it also tells piety in itself has no value. But it acquires meaning when it creates favorable condition in our mind, so that we will be able to understand the words of this. We will be able to for the perception of the words of Ishanukata, like that. So we follow dharma, that is the previous Manvantara section, the following the rules and regulations, so that our mind is favorable to hear Ishanukata. And then we have Ashraya, which is the subject of Bhagavatam, is to understand. It's not understandable by ordinary methods. Of course, that is another. And then we have Nirodha and Mukti. Nirodha is the destruction of the universe, annihilation of the universe, and this is also very important understanding we get. How Nirodha basically tells that this world is always um, going again and again. By knowing it, we understand, oh, this is a temporary place, I need to go to a permanent place. And Mukti also basically how a person gets free from this material world, that is explained. And now which cantos represent which, we will just I'll just tell briefly. The third canto represents creation. Of course, this is one perspective, but I'll tell what Jiva also says. Third canto represent their third canto basically it said that is explaining about Sarga. Fourth is Visarga. Fifth is Sthanam. Sixth is Poshanam. Seventh is Udaya. Eighth is Manvantara, and ninth is Ishanukata. 10th is Ashraya. 11th and 12th are Nirodha and Mukti. And still Jiva Goswami says that all cantos explain all topics also. He just gives example of seventh canto. Like Now, according to this list, seventh canto is Uti, the creative impetus. But according to Jiva Goswami, says no, it all cantos are telling. It's the story of Hiranyakashipu and Narsinghdev. He says, you see, Narsinghdev appears. Appearance of Narsinghdev is Sarga, and his appearance uh, in this world is Thanam. He appeared in a particular place, that is Thanam, and he bestows his grace on Prahalad, that is Poshanam, and because he's supporting Prahalad. And Nirodha is he destroyed Hiranyakashipu, and the logical consequences of Hiranyakashipu's impious activities, that is Uti, and Mukti is some form he liberates also Hiranyakashipu, and Ishanu Katha is Narsinghadev's Katha is there. So in that way, if you see all the topics are there, like that he tells. So this is a brief explanation of how all these 10 topics are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So any questions, Srimad? Yes, Priyu.
This is Ranganath Chirandas.
Very good.
The seventh one, I did not get it clearly. Uttaya?
Uti, bro. Uti.
Sorry, Spurti.
Uti. Acha, you didn't understand what is Uti.
Yes. And how do you spell it?
This is Utayai. Utayai, it is pronounced.
Uttaya. Okay.
You want me to explain it, what it is, or you understand?
No. I wanted to explain that, Prabhuji.
Acha. So this is creative impetus. Creative impetus basically means that understanding of what we are doing here. So and why we are sometimes overcome by lower desires, sinful desires. Sometimes we have good desires, and where all these powerful emotions, energies come from, and we will suddenly know where lust, greed is coming, and we cannot do anything about this. And this uti is an internal impetus of our activities. Sometimes we act in pious ways, sometimes like fools, and sometimes in a very tamasic way, and then we are carried away by all these powerful emotions also, various desires which tear us apart, all these things. Now uh, then what should be understood is, where does it all come from? It comes from the sanskaras of the past, and therefore it is called uti. Sukadeva Goswami uh, is telling that uti is that karma vasanas, basically what impressions we have in our mind, and which creates these impressions come from our past activities and from our association. Basically it tells what association we had and what is that we are trying to do in this world based on that association. So we have to be very careful, because the bottom line is that if we want to have positive impulses, we need to associate with good people. So basically, that is telling that we need to have good association, especially the association of saintly people, because that will change our karma. Otherwise, we will be left in confusion, and we have no idea what to do with them and all these things. So when we are in good association, we'll be free. So that is understood.
Thank you, Prabhu. This karma vasana is in which chapter?
Seventh canto, bro. Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah. And this Uttaya
Prahalad, it is said how Hiranyakashipu is demonic, how Prahalad, because of association Ardhamani, how he is saintly. So this is a comparison, very great comparison of Hiranyakashipu and Prahalad.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Harish.
Any other questions? Yeah, it is there in the second canto. The shloka number I will just find out. It is in second canto. All this shloka is Atra Sarga Visargasya Sthanam question. Okay. Because when Parikshit Maharaj is asking, okay, tell me, then Sukadeva Goswami tells, okay, these are the 10 topics of Bhagavatam and I'll explain. So he starts explaining all the 10 topics. So we'll continue with our purport. So we have discussed this shloka. We just read the translation. Purni bhuri karmani srotavyani vibhagasaha atah sadhyo atra yat saram samskritya manishaya Bhuri Bhadrani Bhutanam Yenatma Suprasidati. Says that these are many varieties of script. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them there are many prescribed duties which can be learned only after many years of study in various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instructions their heart may be fully satisfied. So this is what they are requesting and proposes. Just read the purport again. I forgot how much I read in. Atma, or self, is distinguished from matter and material elements. It is spiritual in constituency, and thus it is never satisfied by any amount of material planning. All scriptures and scriptural instructions are meant for the satisfaction of this self or Atma. There are many varieties of approaches which are recommended for different types of living beings in different times and at different places. Consequently, the number of revealed scriptures are innumerable. There are different methods and prescribed duties recommended in these various scriptures. Taking into consideration the fallen condition of the people in general in this age of Kali, the sage of Naimisharanya suggested that Srila Sutta Goswami relate the essence of all such scriptures, because in this age it is not possible for the fallen souls to understand and undergo all the lessons of all these various scriptures in a Varna and Ashrama system. The Varna and Ashrama society was considered to be the best institution for lifting the human being to the spiritual platform. But due to Kali Yuga, it is not possible to execute the rules and regulations of these institutions, nor is it possible for the people in general to completely sever relationship with their families as the Varnashram Institute prescribed. The whole atmosphere is surcharged with opposition. Considering this, one can see that spiritual emancipation for the common man in this age is very difficult. The reason the sages presented this matter to Srila Sukadeva Goswami is explained in the following verse. Prabhupada is so beautifully explaining, is giving the root cause of the problem here. And there is also one more very important thing, Prabhupada says, which we have discussed yesterday. He said that many varieties are recommended for different type of living beings, different times and different places. See, people are different, time is different, place is different. So the rules change. So that's why there is no contradiction. And then that's why there are so many scriptures. That is the reason. And different sages, according to the time, place, and circumstances, according to the people's mentality, they have given. And that's why it is very difficult to follow, which to follow, what to read. And they say, okay, now better to give essence of all, which is possible for all the people. This is how such a difficult thing. So the Goswami has to do a difficult thing. He has to give something which is very practical for Kali Yuga and applicable for all. That is a, and this is a and Varnashram Dharma is for uplifting, so that ultimately there is spiritual emancipation. But now we cannot follow Varnashram. It is so difficult because we will not know what is our Varna. So we cannot do only that. That's why he's telling, okay, give something which is practical for all. And this is nice. Sutha janasi badram te bhagavan satvatam pati devakya vasudevasya jato yasya chikirshaya. He says, all blessings upon you, O Sutha Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of God had appeared in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva. So he gives answers by third chapter only. We can say it is completed, but again it's just a trailer, and again it elaborates. So Devaki and Vasudeva, it is on the 10th canto. Of course, third canto also some past tense are there, and 11th canto also there, and ninth canto also, but more elaborately because Krishna's about Krishna in all cantos they are there. That is speciality of Bhagavatam. But all the details of it are in the 10th canto. Bhagavatam means the Almighty God who is the control of all opulences, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. he is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is especially inclined to his devotees. Sat means the absolute truth. And persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called sattvatas. And the personality of Godhead who protects such pure devotees is known as a protector of sattvatas. Bhadrante or blessings upon you indicates that the sages anxious to know the absolute truth from the speaker. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, appeared to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is a symbol of transcendental position wherein the appearance of Supreme Lord takes place. So we will not detail discuss all these things because we have to go in parallel with the commentary of Vishwanath. Once the first shloka gets over of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, then they will finish the whole chapter in 2 days, and we also have to go. So we will not take more. So here the questions. This is also another question that is asked. So once all the questions are over, again I will tell which shloka is telling which question. But this is another question which they asked. First, they asked the essence of the scriptures, which is select the essence of the scriptures and explain for the good of all living beings. So this is the question. And here the question is, what is the purpose of personality of God appearing in the womb of Devaki and Vasudeva? So this is another question. All right. So we'll go further. If anybody want to share anything, they can share. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Some things very simple, will not elaborate. Which are little some discussion is there, then only we'll pause and discuss, because we have to cover up with and and some points Prabhupada repeat, so that time we maybe can. Sushrushamananam arhasya anganuvarnitam yasyavataro bhutanam kshemaya cha bhavaya cha. Vasudha Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters. The one is uplifted both speaking them and hearing them. So they want to hear that which will help them uplifted, both speaking and hearing about them. So they wanted to know these things. So what Prabhupada says is, the conditions for hearing the transcendental message of absolute truth are set forth. First condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. Again and again, this is this first canto is the adhikara. Prabhupada is always telling this. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear, and the speaker must be in line of disciplic succession from the recognized acharya. The transcendental message of the absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the directions of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Sudha Goswami, the sage of Naimisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Sudha Goswami is a line of Srila Vyasadeva, and the sages of Naimisharanya are also sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Sri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnations, his birth, appearance or disappearance, his form, his name, and so on, are all easily understandable because all requirements are fulfilled. Such discourses help all men on the path of spiritual realization. This is about Sudha Goswami and Sage of Naimisharanya. Sudha Goswami also heard it properly, and Sage of Naimisharanya also following the same thing. They are also hearing it properly under the bona fide. So here we need to be submissive. So there are 3 degrees of submissions. That's what Bhagavad Gita shloka says. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashrena sevaya upadekshanti te jnana jnaninastattva darshana. What are the 3 levels? One is there should be humility at the level of body. Humility at the level of body is what? You offer obeisances. And then there is humility at the level of words. Then we ask questions. And humility at the level of mind, of course, ask not questions asking, sorry. Humility at the level of mind is we render service. At the level of ego is we are asking questions. Asking questions means what? We are accepting that that person is superior to me. This is a discussion maybe tomorrow or some other, because this is Adhikar Tattva, I will try to elaborate on it on some other day, because what is this submissive hearing also we need to very elaborately discuss, is very important. But the shloka I will explain of Bhagavad Gita, what is telling is we need to have humility at three levels. One is at body level, to offer obeisances. Whenever we see Guru, offer obeisance. Whenever we see deities, and we have to always offer obeisances. So it sometimes becomes difficult. Oh, so many times. But Raghunath Das Goswami and all we see every day 2000 obeisances fix. Now that is humility with the body. Every time we go temple, all offer obeisances. Whenever we see deities, offer. Whenever we see Guru, offer obeisances, like that. And then there is with the mind. Mind is, it does not want to render service to anyone. When that means we have to render service. We have to force it. No, you are service. You have to render service. And then when we are asking asking question means we are accepting that this person is superior to me and he knows more than me. I need to hear from him. This is the another aspect. So tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Then comes upadekshanti te jnanam jnananastattva darshanah. This humility. So we see all these qualifications are met here. They're accepting him as superior. They are able to follow what he is telling. And then this is a very nice glorification of the holy name comes. And this also we will try to understand. Apanna samsatyam koram yannama bevasho grana tasadhyo vimuccheta yad viveti swayam bhayam. Some shlokas we have to memorize, first three and this sloka also, the first chapter, which are very important for us to memorize. But this shloka says the living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. This is very important verse. Even unconsciously chanted also, we can be free from yad vibheti swayam prayam. Now we'll see what Prabhupada writes and then we'll have discussion on it. Vasudeva or Lord Krishna, Vasudeva or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme control of everything, and as such, he is feared by all others. There is no one in the creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravana, Hiranyaksha, Kamsa, and others who are very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudev has empowered his name and the power of his personal self. So he has empowered his name with all the energies. Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Everything directly related to him is identical with him. It is stated here that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy name of Lord Sri Krishna even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdles of birth and death. The Prabhupada is telling how what happens is when we chant the name of the Lord, there are different levels in our existence. One is Adipautika, Adhyatmika, Adidevika. All three levels get purified. Our body gets purified, or in a certain level, metaphysical level, that is our mind gets purified, and the soul gets purified. That is how the holy name works. It frees one from all karma. It frees one from all the material vasanas, bad sanskaras, and then the soul is immediately connected to the Supreme. Of course, it's a very technical how our karma is bound and all. It's a very technical thing. In Yoga Shastras, is very detailed way it is explained how there are certain waves that happen in our mind, and but they are completely confused because so many things are there. But the original vibration, the holy name vibration, will make our soul get tuned to the spiritual vibration, because the whole spiritual world is made of this Hare Krishna Maha mantra, and Vaikunta is made of Gayatri mantra. So when you are chanting, you are in tune, you are in harmony with that original vibration. That's why we just get connected to it. And then anything in this material world does not make any sense for us. Say it's all bogus, because we are in tune, we are in harmony with the original creation of spiritual world. So everything is by sound, anavritti shabda, in that way. Any questions, discussions till now? Anybody want to share something in this regard? Okay, we'll move ahead. I'm just going little fast. I just wanted to complete, because Prabhuji will complete the first verse. At least we should complete first chapter, because in 2 days he will complete the first chapter, and then they will come to second. And second is very big for us. So we'll not be able to catch up. Uh, my target was we should do 2 chapters before we complete first verse. Because after that it's very small problem. We'll see how it will happen. We may have some homeworks for you. Some purpose will be homework you have to do at home. Okay. यत्पादसंश्रया सूता मुनयः प्रशमानया सद्यः पुनत्य उपस्पृष्ट त्वद्गन्यापूनुसेवया. It says that Asuta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. This one point from the previous. Actually, I just told you the main how the karma is burned. Only one aspect I told, and the why a person becomes free from fear. How a person becomes free from fear when he chants the holy name of Lord. It's a very important understanding we should get. Freed immediately. Uh, of course, he's freed from the meshes of birth and death, and also from that fear, because he develops that. Even the example of Ajamil and all, he's just immediately freed. Freed from the fear, also freed from the meshes of birth and death also. Rajamil, and this is proved from Bhagavatam 6th canto also. We'll see this translation again. He is telling Darshane Pavitra Koro Eto Margun. Then Gangara Parasavile Paschatya Pavan Darshane Pavitra Koro Eto Margun. Wherein water of Ganges we have to take bath, but just we would take in shelter of feet of Lord can once sanctify those who come in touch with them. So this is the pure devotees are of the Lord are more powerful than the water of sacred river Ganges. One can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of the Ganges water. Another important thing, Ganges will purify sinful reactions. Whereas in the association of devotees, our heart is also purified not only from sinful karma, sinful reactions, but sinful desires are also removed. But one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of birth, as a Shudra, woman, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord, and by so doing can return to Godhead. To take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the name Prabhupada and Vishnupada. This Prabhupada is writing before he went to US. He becomes Prabhupada, so he is not Prabhupada this time when he is writing, which indicate such devotees to be the representative of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone, therefore, who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as a spiritual master can at once can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. For they deliver out of the material world the fallen souls whom the Lord want to return back to God. Such pure devotees are better known as uh, wise lords, according to the revealed scriptures. The sincere disciples of a pure devotee considered him equal with the Lord. But the pure devotee always considers himself to be humble servant of the Lord. This is the uh, pure devotional path. Now, why a pure devotee? Main important thing for us is a change in the heart. It's not just relief from sinful reactions. Karma is relieved by taking bath. Anybody goes on these Kumbh Melas and all these things. We see so many people go to all these holy places to be uh, relieved from this uh, sinful reactions. They go for Kumbh Melas and all these different places, and then there are what do you call pushkaras and all. What happens is they'll be free from sinful reactions, but the sinful tendency and desires remain only. That's why they continue to do their sinful activities and get entangled very nicely. But by coming in association of devotees, will be free from even the tendencies also, the inclinations, everything gets purified. The heart changes. It starts vibrating with that pure devotee's heart. That is how it happens. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shuddhava is basically once we get tuned to the original sound, original desire, that is desire to serve, then the soul starts changing. It feels the difference. Once you get a higher taste, then lower taste does not make any sense. That is how it happens. Then once he gets pure, once he chanted purely the name of Lord, or once he associated with such a great Vaishnava, immediately we get tuned to that in a just fraction of second also. And then what happens is, then other things does not make any taste. Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoya. Then I said, no, no, no. I don't need any of these things now in this world. Eventually, he may be doing it, he is doing out of habit, but he lost the taste. That is the danger. Now we all know, we all have some desire to enjoy this material world, but we don't have the same taste as a materialistic person has. We also enjoy, devotee also try to enjoy. But difference is materialistic person really enjoys it. Devotee cannot enjoy. He don't get much taste. He does, but he always feels, yeah, I know it does not work here. Even though he may be watching some material news, or he may be trying to enjoy some movie, or he want to go and eat some hotel. But back of mind, always he will feel dissatisfied with that because he knows it won't work. Why? Because he got tuned to the original sound, um, original relation with the soul. The soul got tuned to the original spiritual consciousness. That's how it happened. So even the small fraction of second also will make such a difference if we are not committed offenses. So this is also the conditions of it. There is a star mark for it. Yes. Yes, Mantaj.
In which book we can study about this offenses?
Harinam Chintamani.
Okay. And what happens that sometimes we cannot chant attentively. So will it give the same result, or it will attenuate the
It is
effect?
offense if you don't chant attentively, because all offenses are because of inattentive chanting. Then we'll commit offenses, all sorts of offenses. We
But
have to, as much as possible, try to be attentive. Otherwise, we'll commit offenses to the holy name. We commit all other offenses. It's a mother for all offenses, inattentive.
Yeah, but throughout 16 rounds, it is not possible that we can chant attentively because we are not at that level now. At least I am not at that level that I can attentively chant throughout 16 rounds.
Huh. But we should make an endeavor to chant. Then it is not wrong. Like not that we are having mobile in one hand and then we are chanting, or in front of TV, or talking while cooking and and driving. So many ways of chanting. That is actually wrong. We have to, when our 16 rounds, we have to sit in a proper place, and or in a we have to give a proper time for it without any distraction. At least try to be attentive. That is important. Then slowly we may come. Other times also we can chant, but apart from 16 and just to remember Krishna, we can chant. Not that while cooking we should not chant, but that is not be our regular 16 notes. While cooking or driving or any other activity in house or any activity we can chant, but that is for remembrance of Krishna. It is not for it is not it is not our 16 notes. That 16 notes we should be very at least make an endeavor to be attentive. Then we can slowly get free from these offenses.
And you said that we can chant while doing our housework and anything. So does it influence our spiritual life or?
We should always remember Krishna. That's why we have to always chant, because we want to remember Krishna all the time.
You know, we are not attentive on chanting. We are more attentive on doing our work. So
No problem.
yeah,
We can.
yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share something? Ask and.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, bro.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about this, the sound vibration which is in Golok Dham and Vaikuntha Dham. So is there any reference of that the sound is always there, Hare Krishna mantra and the Gayatri mantra in Vaikuntha?
Yes, bro. It is given in the literature of Goswamis, and how the Gayatri mantra is forming the spiritual world, and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the Goloka. This is Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. Whole Goloka, everybody chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all the time. And
So
it
it's
is
always,
given
this holy name is always there. The sound
it is
vibration.
always, yeah.
And probably like sometimes when we while chanting we use Prabhupada Mahamantra or somebody makes a flute sound. So is it advisable to keep some other sound while we are chanting the holy name, or we should only attentively like you are like
I'm not able to hear you, bro.
So is it only purely that we should only hear the holy name? Audible, Prabhuji?
It is breaking in between, bro. Yeah, I understood.
I'm saying that when we are
we can keep other chanting like Prabhupada chanting and all. We keep it as an inspiration, but ultimately we have to hear what we are chanting. That is more important. We keep Prabhupada inspiration. Is Prabhupada is there? He's chanting. Let me also chant. It's for inspiration. We keep Prabhupada chanting. When in some temples they keep Prabhupada chanting. It's inspiration that Prabhupada is also chanting along with us. So let me also chant. But ultimately we have to hear the holy name. That is more important.
And sometimes while chanting the holy name, we refer certain prayers from, and we stop and read those prayers and then again chant. So is it good, or we should only just focus on chanting?
It is always good because we are always trying to create the mood for us. So what happens now? We have very short memories, we forget. After a few rounds, we may go into some different zone. And again, somebody has this habit of chanting prayers so that they create a mood. Basically, it should not be mechanical. It is to create a mood so that we'll be more prayerful and get complete benefit of our chanting of that day. Basically, it's a mood to create. It is good.
So basically, if we are just focusing that how best we can chant, and for that, if we are
doing all other things which are making us to chant more attentively. So that is okay, I think.
Yes,
That's what.
yes. Ultimately, it should help us to hear the holy name and chant in a prayerful mood. Then everything is anukul. Yes, it's all favorable. We can do whatever is favorable to make us. The place should be like that. The environment, and if some places are not suitable for us, we can change our place. We can change our house. We can change our city also. Ultimately, we want to chant. We want to stay in association of devotees. Anything is related to making us chant holy name, because that is what is the purpose of life is. We want to chant the holy name, that's all.
So basically, if we are sincerely looking for chanting the holy name, so then what all impacts we can make to chant like favorable, anukul.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.
Gail Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Well, first thing, last night, Muktakesh Prabhu was in the middle of explaining his question answer to me, and my phone died. So I don't know if you all tried to communicate with me after his explanation. But I just wanted to apologize for that in case I was not responsive. That was the reason.
Yeah. We saw you were not there in the meeting. Yeah. We understood. I understood, because here also it happens. I cannot completely rely on our network. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I was very concerned about that.
No. We understood, Mataji.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Felt so bad. Yeah. Actually, just one question though is when you said, how is it, you asked the question just now, why is it that by calling Krishna's name, the devotee feels no fear, right? Was that the question?
Yeah.
And I don't think I got the answer properly.
Yes, Mataji. Okay, then that will be our first discussion tomorrow. Just give every day morning we'll have one topic to discuss initially for 5-10 minutes. Maybe tomorrow morning, because it's time, I will nicely, means whatever understanding I have about fear, I will try to help when we chant, how we, one small understanding I'll give definitely.
But did you give answer and I missed it, or you didn't give answer?
I told how, because we get connected to the Lord, that's why we become fearless. But there is much more explanation also. Maybe tomorrow I'll explain.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share something? Okay. We'll just take one more verse if nobody has any questions. They can also share. It's not that I should only share. It's a discussion, and everybody can participate. So we'll just take one more verse and then we'll end for today. At least I will be satisfied that we have covered sufficient purpose. Ko va bhagavatastasya punyashloke idya karmanaha shuddhi kamo na sunyat yasya kalimalapa. So again we have told how the Kali Yuga is another important topic of Bhagavatam. So in this verse, this 3 times it comes almost like. So this topic about Kali Yuga, who is there desiring liberation from the vices of age of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord. So again, especially this age of Kali is very important, age of quarrel. Purport. The age of Kali is most condemned due to its quarrelsome features. Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. Those who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, or without any desires for self aggrandizement, and who are freed from the effects of fruitive actions and dry philosophical speculations, are capable of getting out of the estrangements of this complicated age. The leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship, but they have no information of the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. On the contrary, such leaders are opposed to the propagation of the glories of the Lord. In other words, the foolish leaders want to completely deny the existence of the Lord. In the name of secular state, such leaders are enacting various plans every year. But by the insurmountable intricacies of the material nature of the Lord, all these plans for progress are being constantly frustrated. They have no eyes to see that their attempts at peace and friendship are failing. But here is a hint to get out of the hurdle. If you want actual peace, we must open the road to understand of the Supreme Lord Krishna and glorify Him for His virtuous activities as they are depicted in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is also a very nice point. Actually, first canto Prabhupada gives so many wonderful points, so many wonderful explanations, and every line, every purport, and every line is so important. And we need to thoroughly means you can have a discussion with whenever you're having any classes or anything. You need to again discuss more elaborately and very nice. Here, one important thing what Prabhupada is telling is the leaders are anxious to live in a peace and friendship, but they have no information that this is a very simple method that how to get out of these things is just chant the holy name and chant the holy name and hear Bhagavatam. When Chicago Prabhupada was there, then there was so much crime was increasing, and the Chicago police commissioner he comes to meet Prabhupada. He says, "How your students are very peaceful and they are behaving very good." And Prabhupada says, "Very simple. You also will do Harinam and distribute Prasadam, and whole city, all the crime rate will reduce." Now, it is such a sublime method Prabhupada is giving, and that is actually the method because it transforms the heart of a person, changes the heart of a person. That that is what is going to happen if somebody is sincerely hearing and even taking prasadam also. But unfortunately, people don't accept it. You know, this is such a simple, and even for parents, if their children are very mischievous and all, they just have to give very nice sattvic prasadam and have to make them hear the kirtans. That's all. And their mind is completely cooled and satisfied. Okay, we will end our discussion. If anybody has anything to say, we'll continue from shloka number 16. We will just take few more points from few more points of discussion in this, and then we'll go ahead. Anybody has anything for today? Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.